Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit more about sociopaths. So, my expertise, I have my master's. I worked for many years with male sociopaths. I've been researching and studying about what a sociopath is ever since. And we all need to have a much better idea about what sociopaths are, okay? So, here's one. When I was arrested for defending myself in my own home from this very violent, stupid sociopath that shouldn't be here, Martin Igbinogun, protected by Bax, who are also sociopaths, clearly. Bax is Bay Area Community Services. They're getting our tax dollars to supposedly help the homeless, but they're not. And no one is apparently scrutinizing them. And no matter how much I call out for what's happening, they're pocketing money, they're murdering women, nobody is going after them. No law enforcement is protecting us, or your money for that matter. Why? Why is no one doing that? Okay. So when the police arrested me, there was one of the cops there that was like a good guy. I think that a lot of cops, especially at least in Oakland, become police because they want to protect people. And they feel like, I do really believe that. But they are being bamboozled by an entire society that benefits and rewards and protects the male sociopath. So we need our cops and our law enforcement to start thinking for themselves, right? To start waking up to the fact that we are in a world shaped by male sociopaths. So I'm trying to educate this guy. I'm always trying to educate people because we all need to have a better idea about what a sociopath is and what's happening in our world. And I was explaining Martin to him, and he said, "Oh, I bet he's like painting himself as the victim the whole time." And that's a common misconception about sociopaths. The common misconception is that they are painting themselves as the victim, but they actually know they're not. And that's actually not the case. It makes sense that you might think that if you're a sane person, right? And you don't know much about what sociopaths are or who they are, you might think that because they're constantly painting themselves as the victim, that means they're painting themselves as the victim. But that's actually not the case, right? If you're a sane person, that's what it looks like. But they're not sane. Their minds are irreparably broken and they are insane. So when a sociopath has the rigid, fixed delusion that they are always the victim, as evidenced here in this house, like despite all the evidence I have that I'm the victim here and Martin is the aggressor and the perpetrator, he still says things to me like, I'm the thug. I'm the thug. I'm the sociopath. I'm the, aggressor. What evidence do you have, Martin? I've got hundreds of videos. What's the evidence of this? And of course, he can't provide any. But that's not him painting himself as the victim. He is insane. Sociopaths are not capable of true logical thinking. If you push them, they start to move their eyes. Like if you try to push them with logical, or they just don't listen, or they tell you you're crazy, you're on drugs, like he says that to me all the time, right? It's because they are insane. Their minds are irreparably brain damaged from early childhood trauma brought about by the patriarchy and the disempowering of the primary caregiver of the mother who needs authority to grow a human being. I'll go on about that later. But in this video, I just want you to understand, they're not painting themselves as the victim. They have a fixed delusion that cannot be shaken because they're brain damaged and they are insane. They're not really fully human. They're very primitive. They're more like sharks inside of adult bodies. They're dangerous, they're primitive, they're insane. They look like adults, and we're so used to them. We're so used to men being on the spectrum of sociopathy that it feels normal to us. And we may be sane, or we may be on the saner side of the spectrum, and we just presume that these full-blown sociopaths are also, and they're not. They're fully insane. They're fully not really human. They're irreparably brain damaged, and they're fully delusional, especially about the fact that they're always the victim. They fully believe that, and nothing will shake that belief because they are insane. That's why. Now, part of being a sociopath is being very deceptive. So do they know that they're insane? Some of them might. Probably a lot of them don't. But their whole way of being is to deceive because they're missing so many pieces and trying to fit in with humanity, but they're not fully human, and trying to maintain the power and the role, the hierarchy that they have in this crazy world that rewards male sociopaths and in fact interprets masculinity as sociopathy. Because we've been in this patriarchy for thousands of years, and our idea of what a normal, healthy man is has been so warped by the vast amount of male sociopaths created and maybe intentionally perpetuated by these sociopaths by the disruption of quality mothering to help grow their brains. So that's important. Sociopaths do believe, because they're insane, that they're the victims at all times. It's a fixed delusion.